Hi and welcome to my channel. My name is Eric, and today I will be building a wristwatch from pretty much scratch. I discovered this trend on YouTube a couple of months back. I was looking into dive watches online to complement the watch I already have, which is a Powermatic Tissot watch. I really wanted a diving watch so I could be able to have a watch which was able to be in water. I started looking at online, especially at some Seiko watches, but I wasn't quite able to find one which matched the style I wanted. So I started looking through some YouTube videos. And whilst doing this, I discovered this sort of a rabbit hole. And I found out more about these watches built off AliExpress products. So then I started looking up some products online, some parts, and found that I could make a watch that was much closer to what I really wanted for a lot better price than building something somebody else had bought. So this is my first time making a watch, so I might make some mistakes, but hopefully we should be able to create a fully functioning watch. The watch will be using the NH35 movement and will have a screw down crown so that it's possible to be in water with it. So yes, as mentioned, this is my first time making a watch, so keep that in mind and I hope you enjoy the build. Then there was also the equipment I used to build the watch, most distinctively an NH35 Seiko movement, a black and copper dive case. Then there's the equipment I used, some of which I already had and some of which I had to order extra. One of which was these finger cots, which you put on your fingers to protect the watch's internals from oil and greases from your skin. Then, to begin the building process, we take out our movement and place it on our workplace. I will be using the NH35 as it is a reliable, fairly cheap movement which has a 40-hour power reserve. Another nice feature of this movement is that it's self-winding. Initially, I tried to replace the original date wheel for an aluminous one. Now, sadly this did not work because my equipment was simply not small enough to fit into the screws off the movement. Now, looking back in retrospective, this may have been a good thing because it might have meant that I could risk damaging the movement itself, since opening up the watch has some risks attached to it. Therefore, I just proceeded to installing the dial. To do this, you have to remove some pins, which are there to allow the dial to be attached to other movements, but those are not needed for this process. So, to remove them, I initially tried some clippers, but later realized that using pliers would be better for this procedure. Then, after cutting off the pins, it was simply to place the dial on the movement. For this part, it was important to make sure the pins fit perfectly into their sign slots, and then make sure to push all the way around so that they got firmly in place, such that the dial wouldn't randomly fall off. After this, we simply have to change the time, such that the date changes. This makes sure that we are at midnight, and prepares us to place the hands, as now we know where to place them. Now that it's time to apply the hands, we start with the hour hand. First taking out the box and then placing it on the dial, attempting to align it with the 12 o'clock mark. It can be somewhat challenging, although when you get it, you simply use the tool and press somewhat firmly down. Then we move on to the minute hand. The minute hand is even harder to put on, and the reason for this is that it's going to fit over the hour hand. We have to make sure nothing touches, and then use the tool once more to apply it. Finally, we have the second hand. The second hand is the most difficult to put on, as the room for error is very, very low. This is probably the 20th take of me attempting to put it on, and yes, it might be a good idea to have a spare hand for this part. And after all this, we can see that the movement and hands are working together quite alright. It's now time to prepare the case. We clean it up a bit, and then we use our trusted rubber ball to open the case up. Once opened, we simply take out the watch holder, place it on the desk, and then we put the movement in it. Now that we've put the movement in the movement holder, we simply have to remove the time setting stem. This is done by pushing a pin at the back of the movement. This prepares us for putting the movement into the case. Then we remove the crown from the case, unscrew it, and place it off to the side. This prepares us to put the watch into the case, being a bit careful whilst we do this, because this is a place where the movement could potentially be damaged if we're not careful. The next step is to screw the crown onto the new stem. This is so that we can wind and set the time. Now, the stem will likely have to be cut to be able to fit the new case. This was something I also had to do, however, I did not get this on video. It is important that you're able to push the crown all the way in, and that when you pull it out, you get two distinct clicks, one for date and the other one for setting the time. Now we are, for the most part, finished. The last step is to simply dust off the top panel and screw it back on with the trusted rubber ball. The next step was to remove the strap stems in order to allow me to put on a new watch strap. Mine had included stems, meaning I did not need the pre-existing ones. And here it is, the final product. I decided to use a black rubber strap with a magnetic clasp. Okay, so yeah, it's finished. I am quite happy about how it turned out. It has, even the luminosity works quite well, which I'm surprised with, given the price of the parts. I'm also happy with the finding of a second hand, which actually does light up as well. So the watch build in itself comes in at about $80, with some additional prices for shipping and some prices for the tools I used. So we're linking all the tools and parts in the description if you want a similar build. The case, fully metal with glass front and back, for about $20, which I am surprised at the quality holding it in hand. Additionally, the movement is just under $30 as well, and for a genuine Seiko movement, I am quite happy with that as well. What I would say I'm most surprised with is actually the wristband in proper silicone, and it even has a magnetic clasp. And the clasp works very well and is adjustable, and that comes in at just $3. So, if anything, I am very happy with the overall watch, how it looks, and well, the overall process is quite simple, and I would definitely recommend anybody wondering if they might want to build a watch or buy one, that go ahead, try to build one, because you save some money and you get something much more personalized and something that's truly yours, that's not some brand's idea of what a watch should be, that you can actually make your idea of what the watch should be. So yeah, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed watching me build this watch, and if you really enjoyed the video, please consider leaving a like and perhaps subscribing. Well, thank you so much. See you in the next video.